marry me? Such a simple question, but for decades, the right to ask this question was denied to thousands of New York State residents. On July 23rd of this year, Governor Cuomo told New York Times reporters that what this state did today brings marriage equality to a new plane. We reached a new level of social justice. What was he referring to? My name is Ann Callender, and I will be talking to you today about gay marriage in different states and DOMA's of impact or influence on such marriages. Governor Cuomo, he was referring to a piece of legislation that he had just voted into law, which made New York State on July 24th of this year the 6th state and the largest state to adopt gay marriage. What is also interesting about this piece of legislation is the fact that a person does not have to reside in the state of New York to be married in New York. Someone can come, say, from Georgia, from Alabama, wherever, do not have to establish residency and get married. But the question is it that simple? Though New York became one of the latecomers to allow gay marriage, the passage of this bill is considered very important to advocates of gay marriage. Why is that? It's because of, one, the size of New York State. As I said before, it's the 6th largest state. Also, it has international status. New York is considered one of the trendsetters in the world. Also, another noteworthy thing is that back in 1969, New York City is considered to be the birthplace of the gay rights movement, which started with the Stonewall riots in Greenwich Village. I know 1969 is like forever ago. It's way longer before most of you were born. But this now raises an important issue. Since anyone from any state can come to New York and get married, can they go back to their state, their home state, as a married couple? The answer to this question lies in a piece of legislation that was established in 1996 called DOMA, or the Defense of Marriage Act. And DOMA defines marriage as a legal union between one man, one woman. And under this law, no state may be required to recognize a same-sex marriage performed by another state. So according to the U.S. Constitution as well, DOMA is the responsibility of the state and not the federal government. But what does that mean? Let me give you an illustration. Say, for example, Jack and John live in Georgia, a state that does not support same-sex marriage. They come to New York, they get married. Can they go back to Georgia now and expect Georgia to recognize them as being married? And if Georgia refuses, can they actually go to the federal government and file a complaint and start an appeal stating that Georgia refuses to acknowledge their marriage state? Can they do that? Again, according to DOMA, since it defines it as a national, or should I say, is a national or federal law, it defines marriage as between a man and a woman, and each state has the right to set its own laws. It does not have to accept another state's laws. No, Jack and John cannot appeal to the federal government to have this resolved. Also, according to the New York Times of February 24th, 2011, as well as the HuffPost News, is an internet newspaper, President Obama said that although DOMA, which is a law, he would enforce it, but he will not support it or defend it in a court of law, in the courts. So taking all of this into consideration, besides, this law in New York, how does the country view same-sex marriage? According to a Gallup poll that covers a period of about 11 years, from 1996 to 2011, we see a decline in how people in this nation view same-sex marriages or relationships. And from 1996, people in favor of gay marriages were about 27%. And then today, 2011, we see that increased to about 53%, which doubled how people feel about gay marriage. So in conclusion, my question then is, will New York as a state, considering its history, its size, its influence in the world, can it impact or influence different states in adopting and accepting same-sex marriage? Well, the answer to that lies in the coming months and years.